Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to more Battlefield 6. This week is week 2 of the open beta. It's truly an open beta this time, no early access needed, so jump on, log in, and get to battling. We're going to go over the settings really quick, at least the settings that I use, but also you can glance, quickly at all the settings. So for accessibility, Normally I keep subtitles on in games, but in a game like this where there's not like a story mode, there's no point in having subtitles, so I just turned them off. I went ahead and left everything on its highest setting. I don't have tinnitus, so I don't have to worry about that. But if you do, or it's something that you feel like you might have, you can always adjust those settings. Color presets. I know that, sweats like to change this to other things. I haven't really found that I have an issue with that, so I just didn't change the settings. I left it the same, brightness the same. Excuse me. For camera effects, I did turn world motion blur, weapon motion blur all the way down. I went ahead and left soldier HUD motion on. I haven't really seen any issues with that. Camera shake, I turned it as low as it'll go. And then I turned off chromatic aberration. I'm sure if you have like a super high graphics card or anything like that, like you could probably leave that on and it would be fine. But for playing semi-competitively, as competitive as someone who's as okay at the game as I am, I like to turn all this stuff off to give me the best advantage that I can. Next, we'll go to controls. So in controls, I went ahead and left infantry sprint on toggle. If you like that to be a hold thing, you can, or you can toggle it. I don't do double tap forward to sprint because I always forget. I kind of left most of this where it is automatically. The only thing I did turn off double tap crouch for sprint slide. I'd rather just tap it once to sprint slide. Let's see, what else did I change? I kept prioritize reload on with interact. I think it's just, it helps in a pinch to be able to reload rather than accidentally click on something. I did mean to toggle request revive just so you don't have to sit there and hold it. Instead, you can just click it once and stay alive. And if you actively want to skip revive, then you have to hold it. But I don't want to accidentally click A and skip a revive if I don't want to. Yeah, the rest of the stuff I left on the regular settings. I did turn vibration off, so none of this matters to me. But if you like vibration, by all means, keep it on. Make your changes. There's vibration mixes, too, that you can change, which is kind of cool. I left all text chat and stuff off just because... Again, I don't use it or need it, really. I went ahead and left tutorials on for now, at least, while things are still changing. I'm sure once the full game comes out, I'll eventually turn those off just to, get that stuff away. I kept everything on here except for vault hint, just because I don't need a hint to remember to vault. So that's your accessibility. Now, this is kind of weird because a lot of the same settings will come up again in multiple places. And so far, if you change it in one, it doesn't necessarily mean that it changes in the other. So you might have to change stuff multiple times, which is a little strange. But yeah, I went ahead and kept all this on. I think eventually I'll turn capture area outline off. But for now, again, while the game is still solidifying itself, I went ahead and left it on. That just means when you get to an area, you can see a little outline of the area so you know where exactly the boundaries of the area, the capture area is, which is kind of nice to begin with. I've been messing around with my aim sensitivity. Obviously, I'm playing on controller, so mouse doesn't mean anything to me. I slowly bumped it up. I think when you start, both of these are on 20. So I bumped it up a little bit. Eventually I'll probably bump it up more. Again, double tap forward I left off. Vault over, yeah, most of the stuff I left on, I just didn't touch, except for, again, I came in here and I switched the double tap crouch to slide. Yeah. Now, I'm not a big vehicle guy in these games. I'm slowly becoming a vehicle guy, but more so as an engineer. I want to be there to help out, so I didn't really touch much of this, except for the decouple tank turret. aiming from turning, which is nice. And then I did it for passenger as well. So if I turn the turret, or if I'm driving the tank, I don't have to move where I'm looking for someone who's a passenger to shoot the gun. Instead, they can move freely. I left all the aim assist stuff on normal for now. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. All right. Again, there's your controller. I left mine on soldier. Oh, I did it again. Clearly, I'm really good at the game. Mouse and keyboard, I have to touch. I don't have mouse and keyboard. For now, I'm just keeping this stuff on 50. It works all right. I bumped my field of view up to 100. Again, I think it starts pretty low. And the third-person field of view, I bumped it up a little bit, but again, I'm not a vehicle person, so I don't really mess with it. I turned motion blur, camera shake, all that stuff down. Vignette, film grain off. That's all personal preference. I'd rather just not have to think that my rig isn't strong enough to handle it, so let's turn all that down. I messed around with the icon intensity a little bit, but you can't really tell. So far, I haven't really dug into audio yet. I'm sure I will again once everything changes, but for now, it doesn't super bother me, any of this stuff. Subtitles, again, turned off. I messed around with the subtitle settings, but then realized, again, doesn't matter. I turned it off, so. I left this all on normal for now. I'm not a streamer, so I don't care if people see my name. I don't need to be anonymous. Again, I don't care if people see my name. I did adjust the mini-map a little bit. I made the size as big as I can. I messed around with these settings a little bit, but not a ton. I'm just trying to get used to it. I do have view rotation on. I'm going to turn that off. I played around with it on, and I didn't really like the way that it worked, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And then, yeah, there's legal in case you need that. So those are the settings that I use. Again, I'm not perfect at this game by any means, so play around with the settings, find what works for you. But I think my layout is pretty good base layout for someone who's average at the game. So if you're really good, you might, adjust some of those settings even more. But for someone who's just getting into Battlefield 6 or maybe even Battlefield at all, hopefully my settings help. So thank you guys for watching the settings setup, and join next time for more Battlefield 6 action.